little time as I have. Thank you so much for recording. Okay, so the world code. Please let me confirm once again that everyone can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Let me make sure you can hear me. Also, Paul can hear me. Anyone else? Victory, Marcus Victory, Samuel can hear me. I think Favor Yusuf can hear me. All right, awesome. So the world code. I love the fact that our last session leveraged on, or our last session was the purpose code, and it's very much essential because wealth without purpose will be abused. Wealth without purpose will be bastardized. Wealth without purpose will be is like a man that can be swayed by any form of doctrine. It can head any way because there is no purpose to it. So there must be a redefinition of wealth for us. Many people think wealth means money, but that mindset alone is one of the first problems because money is not wealth. Money is a tool. Confusing the tool for the treasure is why most people will stay poor. Money is important. I'm not going to lie to you that money is not important. In fact, anyone that tells you money is not important is a terrible liar because even in scriptures it says you cannot serve God and mammon. So when I saw that part of scripture, I was like, I was expecting to see that, oh, on this earth you cannot serve God and the devil. But what he said was God and mammon. So mammon, which is a spiritual term for money, is one that can take the place of God on earth. It will be terrible liars and be intellectually dishonest to say money is not important. However, as important as money is, it is still not wealth. Wealth is not merely about money, it is a holistic state of abundance that includes spiritual, mental, physical, social, influential, community, and generational dimensions. I think that should be about 7 things I mentioned now. Wealth is a holistic state of abundance that includes spiritual, mental, physical, social, influential, community, and generational dimensions. The conversation, the world code that we are having this evening is not financial formula. It's a kingdom principle. And until there is an accurate understanding of kingdom, it will be hard to unlock this code we want to talk about. And so, with the little time we have before us, I will try to go as deep as possible, as fast as possible. All right. So, let's speak briefly about the origin of wealth. The origin of wealth. Mo- Everything that we can think of is rooted in creation and purpose. Everything that you want to think of. When you are thinking of absolutely any concept that wants to come to your mind, there's something called the law of first mention, and there is no further, you want to go to the creation, to the beginning of a thing, than when it was created. So for man to understand his purpose, he goes back to the one that created him. For man to understand himself, why he was made, he goes to check the creation story. If you're someone that is lost on purpose or whatever, one of the recommendations I would give, I believe anyone seasoned would give, is for you to go back to Genesis. What was man before the devil existed as an adversary? There, you'll be able to clearly see the purpose of man. All right, that was by the side. So, the original purpose and plan of God, yes, was to extend the heavenly kingdom's wealth to earth. And so that's why we say, as it is in heaven, let it be on earth. Because the territory of a kingdom, it reflects the nature of that kingdom. I want to be explaining many concepts, but we actually have a long way to go. So I am just trusting God and our understanding that we are all able to catch up, even if I'm not able to say as many words as possible. Now, as representatives of a wealthy kingdom like heaven, we should do our possible best to reflect that wealth in our lives. And having wealth in your life is not for you to boast or to compete, but it is alignment with the abundance of our kingdom. It is not, you see, for the longest time, I was raised in an environment that they didn't necessarily say it, but with the way the environment looked, it looked like you were more pious, you were more holy, you were more righteous if you were poor. I don't know if anyone else grew with that kind of background. They did not necessarily tell me, but that's what it was. But there was just this way the environment was conditioned, and it looked like if you are poor, you are right, you're more righteous, you are more holy, you're closer to God. If you are rich, you are less righteous, less holy, if you are even righteous or holy at all. But then I began to study for myself, and this might be one of the greatest deliverances you can do for yourself, is to study, not from my bias, not from anyone else's bias, but study. Because it was written about the Bereans, that you be like the Berean Christians, and it was written about them that when an Apostle Paul, I think, comes to teach them, they do not take everything he says hook, line, sinker. They accept the facts, respect him as an apostle, but go back to do their own studying. We need we need to do studies for ourselves. And it was in my study I began to realize that Abraham was not poor. And this is one person I call father of faith. Isaac wasn't poor. Jacob wasn't poor. Okay, maybe that is Old Testament. Even Jesus actually was not poor. And let's say, okay, I neglect all that one. I now read in Revelations that he paved the streets of heaven with gold. It's the one that says 1,000 cattle on the hill are his. Silver and gold are his. So where did this idea of poverty makes you close to righteousness come from? And so the point I'm now trying to make is that you are not supposed to be poor. Poverty is not humility, it is mismanagement. You either do not know what you have or you are misusing what you have. From Genesis, God gave Adam real estate, not clothes, not food. He gave Adam real estate. He gave Abraham real estate. And someone would think I'm being biased about real estate because I'm a real estate consultant. But that's not the issue here. He gave Abraham real estate. He gave Isaac real estate. He gave Moses a land. He gave Jacob a land. And that's why we call it real estate, because it's the only estate that is real. And this is where I will choke it in. You can't be serious about wealth and not look at real estate. Do your studies, do your research. You cannot be serious about wealth and not think or be involved in real estate. You are not wealthy until you own land. Again, moving on. Moving on now. The wealth code, yes, we're talking about wealth, but it actually starts with purpose, not money, like I was saying. One of the Please, are we still following? Can we still hear me? Okay, I can see Paul. Um, okay, all right, okay. Please just let me get feedback with your emojis on so that I know that we are still together. One of the things I found out about people when they are poor, and I have been in the shoe, so it's not just something I studied, it's something I realized that poor people solely chase money. Rich people, they look for material things, they seek material things. But people that will truly become wealthy, they pursue ideas, ideologies. There's so much that can be said about ideas and ideologies, but maybe another time, if there's ever another time. The people who become truly wealthy, they pursue ideas. And ideas have the power to transform lives, to shape societies, and to create lasting impact. Ideas have the power to transform lives, shape societies, and create lasting impact. And this is what the wealthy actually chase. This, when someone can transform lives, when someone can shape societies, when someone can create lasting impacts, that person is powerful, and money bows to power. It is God that gives you power to get wealth. Money bows to power. And one of the ways you recognize the most powerful men are that they control the ideologies of as many people as possible. God help. Let me try to move on. See, find your purpose and your money will find you. Of course, work hard, but work for purpose and not money. Because it is purpose that attracts prosperity for its own fulfillment, as government always finances its own purpose. What I'm trying to say is that if there's a manufacturer who is the king of a kingdom, he manufactured you for a certain purpose. You cannot decide that you want to go in line of that purpose and that king will not finance you, except he's not a responsible king. And one thing you can never call God, even when you are angry, is that he's irresponsible. He's a good father. He's, he's a righteous king. So your purpose, you working in purpose, is your way of attracting prosperity. Just like when government comes up with an idea, they create an initiative or whatever, they don't need to wait for anyone. They will fund that purpose or call together people to fund it because they created it. So in the order of understanding, or let me say the world code is purpose first, Purpose first, production second, and prosperity third. Wealth code is purpose first, production second, and then prosperity is the third one. Purpose must first be, it must be the bedrock. Then you produce products, services, goods from a place of purpose, and undoubtedly prosperity will come. Now, do we have anyone that remembers the definition of wealth? Do we have anyone? If we have anyone in the next 30 seconds that can give me the definition of wealth that I mentioned, I have a personal gift for that person. So we have 30 seconds. Who remembers my definition of wealth? If you remember it, type it in the chat. Or you can quickly unmute and speak. What did I describe wealth as? Someone is speaking.
Yeah, yes, sir. You said
Someone. Okay, go on.
you said wealth is not about money.
Okay.
It is holistic state of abundance that
Wow.
include spiritual, mental, social, community, and generational wealth.
Wow. Okay. I did not expect anyone. You actually did not mention everything, but for that trial, I definitely. Or is there someone that can do better? Is there anyone that wants to challenge what someone has said? Nobody.
Um, Hello, sir.
Okay. Paul, I can hear you.
Yeah, based on what I got, though I did not get everything exactly how you said it. Well, you said
Yeah.
wealth is the holistic state of abundance,
Yes.
which includes influential,
Okay.
spiritual,
Okay.
physical,
Okay.
social,
Okay.
community, and society. Community, society, or personal well-being, or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, person.
You both are very close, and I think yeah, I should give both of you guys. Faithful will help us do the navigating of that. I will reach out to Faithful, and yeah, you guys have shall want my gift. I don't know what my gift is yet, but if I want a gift, I'll think about what the gift is later. All right. Okay. So the way I defined it was that wealth is not merely about money. It is a holistic state of abundance that includes spiritual, mental, physical, social, influential, community, and generational dimensions. I will repeat it one more time. It is a holistic state, and it is referring to wealth. Wealth is a holistic state of abundance that includes spiritual, mental, physical, social, influential, community, and generational dimensions. Seven. Now, the reason why I made sure to redefine or mention the definition again was because I want to briefly talk about the seven spheres of wealth. The seven spheres of wealth, or for people that may be trying to understand what do I mean by sphere, seven dimensions of wealth, seven spheres of wealth, seven dimensions of wealth. And if a person has these seven, it's not possible for that person to be called poor. You cannot, in your right senses, call that person poor. It is the seven spheres, the seven dimensions that make please Mute yourself. Uh, okay, thank you so much. All right. The seven spheres of wealth, the seven dimensions of wealth. If you neglect any sphere amongst them, it makes you partially poor, no matter how much money you have. And so the first sphere of wealth I'm going to talk about is spiritual wealth. Number one, spiritual wealth. Being rich towards God is the foundation of wealth. Being rich towards God is foundational for wealth. A robust spiritual life, an healthy spiritual life, is one that aligns people like us with our purpose and ensures that our material success does not lead to moral poverty. That is, as we begin to gain material success, as we begin to have more material things in our name, it does not affect our morality. Because, like scripture say, what does it profit a man to get the whole world and lose his soul? So, the way you know a wealthy man is that he is rich unto God. Listen to that's why it said in 3 John 2, Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper, even as your soul prospers. It is holistic. It's not just about the material resources in your hand, it's also about the prosperity of your soul. Are we with me? The first one is spiritual wealth. Then the second one is solical wealth or soulish wealth. A share wealth of the soul. And this covers the mental and emotional aspect. Mental and emotional aspect. Intellectual and emotional development is the second dimension. Wealth begins in the mind. Yes, wealth begins in the mind, and there's so many instances I can use to prove this case that wealth begins in the mind. And it's why it is said or it is written that God has given you a spirit of, how did it start it again? Love and a sound mind. I think it was three. I don't know why I'm not remembering everything in order now. But one of the gifts God gives you is that He has given you a sound mind. And He would say, in you, have this mind in you, the mind of Christ, like the same mind Christ had in Him. So there was a mind that was necessary for Christ to do His assignment. There's going to be a mind in you that is healthy, that will propagate wealth. So your soul is important for wealth. Wealth begins in the mind. One of the um things I say is that it is wisdom first before wealth. And those who know me in any way, one of my emphasis in life, in any discussion, in any conversation, is wisdom. Wisdom births wealth. And wisdom is primarily, especially when it comes to the expression of wisdom, it's a thing of your mind. Of course, it's a spiritual concept that mostly impacts your mind, and it's from your mind that wisdom flows. So wisdom brings wealth. And if you don't believe me, we have many case study, but let me use Solomon. Solomon had a dream after sacrificing, and it was in that dream that he got an understanding heart, a wise heart. And it was because there was the existence of that wisdom that he was able to make wealth, attract wealth. Thank you, Paul, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power. Thank you. Power was what I was missing, of love and of a sound mind. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Paul. So that's I'm coming. Give me a minute. All right, so we as individuals must begin to cultivate our minds relentlessly. Ignorance is a product, or is the product, is the root of poverty rather. What makes for poverty is a sick mind. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Poverty is the result of a sick mind. It's not possible that you have spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind. Power, love, and a sound mind, and you are poor. It is not possible. So, solical, which covers mental and emotional wealth, is the second sphere or dimension of wealth. Then, thirdly, physical wealth. Physical wealth. Good health is a critical aspect of wealth. Good health, and that's why it is popularly said. I'm not saying that every popular maxim is correct, some are absolute balderdash rubbish. Yes, but health is wealth is a very true one, because it's when you are sick that you realize work does not matter that much. It's because you are healthy that you can work. So health is truly wealth in that context. Good health is a critical aspect of wealth. And majority of us, if not all of us, know Steve Jobs. Is it Steve Jobs or Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs. That despite his material riches, he couldn't save himself from illness. If your body breaks down because you are not taking care of it, you are poor. Yes, you are poor. And this is one that majority of us struggle with, and it includes myself. Healthy eating, exercise. Yes, it says bodily exercise profited little, but that little profit, TFAM. Mm, that small profit, TFAM. Healthy eating, exercise, and positive environment. They are all pillars of physical wealth. There is one of the worst things that has ever happened, or that I think that can happen to a man, is that you are laying on your back, unable to move, unable to do anything, but you have big ideas. You are sick, but you have big ideas in your head. It's one of the worst things that can happen to a man. So please, physical wealth, your health is important. Fourth, social wealth. Social wealth. And we may fight a little here, but you cannot beat me. You are as poor as the friends you have. You are as poor as the friends you have. If you are the only wise person amongst foolish people, except you are actively influencing them, and by actively, I'm saying that it is almost effortless for you to influence them, very soon you will be one of the foolish people. A wealthy person that is amidst poor people is in danger if their financial state is not changing. Because one day, envy will set in and they can either rob you or kill you. So, social wealth, you are as poor as the friends you have, is healthy relationships that safeguard well being and open doors to opportunities. I know you may not see it clearly, but Joseph's relationship in the prison is what elevated him to power. If the butler and the baker were not the ones in the people that had access to the ears of the king, it might have been harder for him to get out of prison into a position of power. Your social wealth. And I think this might be the point where I say gain more exposure, go to more places, seize more opportunities, travel as much as you can, please. Because some of you are crying over certain friends and they are not, you are like, if this person lives your life, you will die. But this person is even one of the least persons God wants you to meet in life. But because you are in a box, in your environment, in your mindset, you don't see that there is much more that God wants to bring you into. Yes, I want to say something now, and I'm saying it because I sense that there's at least one person that is like, oh, nobody loves me. See, the best people, and I'm not accounting for your bad character if that's what is chasing people away. Go and fix up. Go and fix your bad character. I'm not coddling your bad character. I'm just saying that if people, it feels as if you're not seen, you're not appreciated, I'm telling you that you've not met the best people in your life yet. Open yourself to opportunities, expose yourself to more environment. Because, yes, you are as poor as the friends you have. Get to know more people, gain more exposure. It's very important. Now, the fifth one, for those who have been following, what are the four spheres of wealth or four dimensions of wealth I've mentioned? List them out if you have been following. Let me know. Okay, you can go ahead and unmute.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, the four wills that we have number one, the spiritual wills.
Beautiful.
We have the social wills.
Okay.
Then we also shit. I forgot the rest. So I'm sorry.
I didn't hear you well. I think I can see some in the comments. Okay, okay. Spiritual, soulish, physical, social. Awesome. We're following. All right. Moving on to the fifth one. Influential wealth. Influential wealth. Influence is wealth. Influence is wealth. Influence is wealth. If you would need to pin this one, or please capitalize it and write it in the comments. Influence is wealth. Influence is wealth. Influence is wealth. Influence is wealth. Write it in the chat. Yes, influence is wealth. Please let nobody talk down on influence and you accept it in your mind. Influence is wealth. The ability to affect decisions, the ability to shift culture, the ability to mobilize people is one of the most powerful currencies in existence. Oh, please see what I'm saying. And let me even use one of the most basic examples that can be used. If I have influence over 1,000 people and I and I tell those 1,000 people to just give me 1,000 naira each, do you know that I have made a million like that just by collecting 1,000 naira from 1,000 people? The ability to affect decisions, to shift culture, and mobilize people is one of the most powerful currencies in existence. That is influence. A person with no money but massive influence can generate wealth faster than a person with money but no influence. I'll repeat it. A person with no money but massive influence can generate wealth faster than a person with money but no influence. That is fifth one, influential wealth. Then on to the sixth one, community wealth. Community wealth. You will note that every billionaire has a foundation. They have a philanthropic existence. What I mean by that is that they take care of their community. You, please, are we still friends? Because the next thing I'm about to say might, pain one or two. We're still friends, awesome, amazing. You are less useless. Mm. You are you are less useless than a what's it called? Than a tree, because a tree gives back to its environment. Can we still hear me? Awesome. So, like I was saying, you are less useless than a tree if you are not giving back to your society or to your environment. Because the reason why you can breathe in oxygen is because the tree is giving it out. Even a tree gives to its environment. The proof of your existence is that you are valuable to the society you find yourself. Community wealth. Your community's well-being is tied to yours. A man who is rich in a poor community is not truly rich. Oh. He's just the tallest tree in a forest that is dying. Community. Your environment, your community, your society must enjoy the wealth that you have. Then the seventh one is generational wealth. Seventh one is generational wealth. Generational wealth. It is written, teach your children. No, it's not written. I'm the one telling you this. Teach your children this list and tell them this is wealth. The wealth code is incomplete if it dies with you. The wealth code is incomplete. The wealth code is incomplete if it dies with you. There are a lot of things I still want to say. I want to speak on management and speak on ideas as the real currency. But for the sake of time, hmm, I would just repeat or summarize what I've said so far and then open space for questions because I have to be in another session by 7 p.m. So, for those that may have missed any parts so far, the world's code is this: know your purpose, develop all 7 dimensions of wealth. And if you were not able to catch all the 7, better ask in the chat now so that they can respond to you. Develop all 7 dimensions of wealth. Become a master manager of what you already have. Let me briefly speak about management now. God will never give you what you pray for, He will only give you what you can manage. Management is one of the most absent components in churches and in families. But one thing you need to realize is that God gives to managers, not to wishers. Diligence is the entry point, and management is the engine. Lazy hands make a man fall, but it's diligent hands that bring wealth. So you must be diligent and you must be a good manager. God gives more to people that can manage wealth. You have been asking, why are some people, maybe you don't have good character, maybe you feel like the quality of their life is not like it should be, but yet they are wealthy? It's because they are better managers than you. Become a better manager and wealth will come to you. So I said, become a master manager of what you already have. Yeah. Then the next thing I think you should remember, after knowing your purpose, developing yourself in all 7 dimensions or spheres of wealth. Third one, become a master manager of what you already have. And the fourth one is trade in ideas, not just labor. Trade in ideas, not just labor. Trade in ideas, not just labor. And let me use this to briefly talk about it. Skills that you acquire from jobs are essential, but finding and deploying your unique purpose is the key to success. Hmm? It can be, you can still get wealthy from within someone's employment of you, but even there, your wealth will still come from your ability to generate ideas that will move the company forward and will give you value in the sight of your employer. I was having a conversation with uh, an acquaintance a couple of years ago, and she was like, "Oh, uh, uncle or so was disturbing her, like he doesn't value her at work, or our boss at work was not valuing her." And I now asked her a question. I said, "Does he have people he values?" She was like, "Oh, yes." Then the problem is not your uncle. The problem is that he sees no value in you. And one of the things that gives you greatest ideas is the viable, fruitful ideas that you can come up with in the corporate environment. So trade in ideas, not just in labor. Then the last one is built for generations, not just for yourself. Wealthy people do not just have more money, they actually think differently, they live differently, they give differently. And even though it's sounding like a rhyme, they also live, like they live the world differently. Crack the code, and your life will never remain or look the same. And with that, I have come to the end of my talk on the world code. Do we have anyone with questions? Please, we have 5 minutes for the questions. Questions, questions, questions. Do we have any questions? You can type it in the chats. You can type it in the chat. And even if you don't have any questions, can you um tell me one or two things that stood out the most for you from this session. What are the one, two, three things that stood out for you in this session? I'm waiting for either questions or the one or two things or three or five or 10 that eat you the most in this session. Please note we have 4 minutes.
Hello, good evening, sir.
All right, Paul, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you for the class so far. It's been really eye opening. Mine is just I did not get something clearly when you said it, so because I'm kind of jotting. You
Okay.
said when you talk about origin of wealth,
Okay.
yes, you said that everything in life. So I put it everything in life. That is talking about system, concepts, and anything
Yeah.
human. So
Okay.
it is rooted in purpose
And creation.
and creation. Okay, yeah, I did not get that completely.
Oh,
Thank
oh,
you.
oh. Are you saying that you do not understand what I mean by that?
No, like I did not get the complete
Oh,
statement.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just saying that everything is rooted in creation and purpose.
Mm.
And so for us to be um wealthy, we must understand the original purpose and plan of God for our creation. And the original purpose and plan of God was to extend heavenly kingdom's wealth to the earth. And so it is because we are representatives of this kingdom called heaven that we now reflect the nature on earth. So it is not us trying to be wealthy, it is us living out our nature because prosperity is in our DNA in the kingdom. So, as representatives of a wealthy kingdom like heaven, we should live our life in a way that reflects wealth, and we are not using it to boast or to compete or to brag or to look down on anyone, but so that we can align ourselves with the original nature of our kingdom, which is prosperity and wealth. I hope you've at least gotten that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right,
Thank
you're welcome. Any other questions or contributions, please?
Sorry, sir. The
Okay.
physical influence. I missed that. If you can help me to explain, if you can
What? I didn't hear that.
explain it for me, sir. The
Which
physical influence. Physical
physical
wealth.
wealth?
Sorry,
Okay, physical wealth is
wealth.
basically talking
Yeah.
about your health, the good health, like your
Yeah.
body's health is a critical aspect of wealth. And that if your body breaks down, you realize there's not so much you can do with your money. So it is important that you take care of your health. That is your physical wealth. And I mentioned that you can have big ideas in your head, but if your body is too weak to voice them out or carry out action on them, how then would you go ahead with them? So, physical wealth is your health primarily. So, yes, I think that will be all from my hand. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Um, Chiam, Chiamaka, you can end the recording now. So have a very good night. See you. Let's also go to the group, the the general group, and go and write the things we learned, so that marriages can see that we truly learned, and other people can also